Audiobook Messages from the Universe Explorer Version the First by Master Sathittham, Pensuk, World Class Spiritual Master. Chapter 1. My dearest, I want to tell you good news that you are stepping feet on the most critical day of your life already, because it's time to tune your frequency for receiving messages transferred directly from the universe. And then you'd understand, learn to love unconditionally, and have a trust in your life truly without any doubts. When truths are revealed, you'd be able to live a life worthily as the universe demands and have a strong purpose in the life as variable as possible. Please bear in mind tightly and firmly that you aren't born to be an ordinary person. I could confirm that it's not a coincidence that you are attending this sacred communication with the universe right now, including listening and watching a tuning frequency wave via Facebook Live in some points of a time in an ocean of this endlessness. The first thing I want to convey to you all is, please treat all human beings equally, no matter what their social status are, both personally and professionally. Easily said that, treat others how you want to be treated. To live with a wing of love, good intention, and fulfilled desire in a life are a right and only one method leading you to the most supreme state of mind. You should do everything in your own way, and if so, you could achieve to an ultimate goal truly without any restraints. The communication between us causes from a strong intention that I want to tell a truth of a life, which states that many of you are trying too hard to succeed in many aspects, like putting too much weight on shoulders. The life that some of you are trying to discover who and what you truly are. The life that some of you are trying to figure a complexity out with a rather limited time in this lifetime. I believe that message from the universe holding in your hands right now is a key unlocking numerous mysteries hiding in your heart miraculously. Of course, it's not a coincidence that today we have an opportunity to talk with one another. Please keep in mind that you aren't alone, but you are a group of enlightened people sharing a same purpose and mission in living in the world. To know that who I am isn't the case for now. The only thing matters is to know exactly who you really are. It's not necessary to know that what is my ultimate purpose, but the thing you should know now is your true desire to live in this world. You should open the mind, and then you understand the life truly, especially in this technology world that we are facing with a prosperity, at least in the belief of new generation humans. Do you know that we are highly sensitive person? We are so easy to upset, tend to cry our hearts out, and have a feeling with any tangible or even intangible things. If you are like that, don't be confused, because It's a symptom when one is approaching to our tuning with the universe. Our communications are signal and messages transmitted from the universe directly to us. You might acknowledge the universe as everything you feel confidence with. It could be your best friend, a love of your life, spirit, and energy from an immense source, which don't want you to pay it back. And only desire of it is to send a confidential message to you. You should open mind wider to perceive these contents. However, that's the first time for some of you to listen to something like this. Of course, behind a stage lays a true reason. It's necessary for the universe to communicate with you via a mediator, which is me. You would gradually understand the reason why in every turned page of this book. Sometimes a beginning of the epic starts from a speck of dust, including the communication right now. It starts from my fervent desire to touch with your heart directly, or it could be said that in the meanwhile you are tenderly touching my heart either. You might call it as the heart of the universe, which could be described as a feeling when you truly see through every aspect of a life. I believe that will be a good friend in no time, and I also believe in the potential of humans that whoever you are, officers, lawyers, poets, artists, doctors, or else, finally you could see through a truth of life truly by your own self. Nowadays, to live in this world isn't a piece of cake. You have to fight and struggle without end in a mundane cycle of life, which is full with a despair, pleasure, and other feelings. Some of these you have to learn and experience by yourself, so I can't transfer them to you by a tuning or telling only. I'm just an ordinary human who wants to reveal some secrets of life receiving directly from the universe to you. The only thing you should do in these times is to be patient in our tuning and let it be with an open mind. I know that people's lives are full of hectics and uncontrollable factors. Sometimes I might say something too straight to some of you, but finally I firmly believe that you would know a reason behind it and discover the essences hiding within. You are being the one who wants to learn what really your life are, aren't you? You are being the one who wants to understand who you really are, aren't you? So it's time you should make an acquaintance with your own self. If delved deeper, you'd find a hidden desire to change your life around with these messages. So, something inside urges you to watch a Facebook Live and meet with me along with the message with the universe right now. I know that people's lives are cycling without end in the round of rebirth, happy, agony, fulfillment, despair, weakness, scary, and other complexities combining to be a spirit. At last, every single one of our race has to embrace inner phase of death repeatedly in many lifetimes until you see through and understand the truth of life truly, please believe that it's not a coincidence, but it's a deep desire which you made since a very long time ago and engraved on every gene as well as DNA. It's a strong intention you made willingly, whether you know or not. You aren't an only one who wants to reveal and imprint meaning and the truth of your life. There are innumerable people struggling so hard to pave in this same road. Offer trust in the morality of humans that you would share this valuable knowledge and the enlightenment to fellow men who don't have an opportunity to understand on this place like you. To reprogram a code of a subconsciousness is definitely something that some of you aren't familiar with. You might feel that it's a questionable or even nonsense. But if you give it a shot and open your heart widely, the wisdom laying within your soul would be stimulated to its wake. You might lie down on the floor or some comfortable sofas in the most convenient position and close eyes. The only tool you must have in this tuning process is your feeling. The message I want to tell you right now is to take a leap jump to a new life. It's so important. It's like a tuning point of history. If you could access to a subconsciousness and unlock a true potential inside, you might move a cycling of a life as well as a desire smoothly without any obstructions. Somehow, it's the right time we have to unchain a true self and let the world know who you really are. It could be called that it's transcendence or transformation for approaching a desired life, breaking free from a dream to live in a reality and letting yourself to live in a whole new world. In fact, you live in the same old world, but aspects and the ways you look at the world aren't the same. During a period of our communication, if your electronic devices fluctuate, please don't be frightened because it will be like that all the time. When linking with the magnetic field in quantum DNA along with universal level, let's hone and shape your intention to be strong like an unbreakable diamond and touch with the flow of life in your subconsciousness. Please let your heart listen and perceive messages transferred from the universe right now. Let's spare a room for a serene heart and wake a true potential hiding within your heart top. I desire that you are becoming to learn the miracle of spirit or subconsciousness. I confirm that you are experiencing with this profoundness. You will feel that it's the most wonderful time ever. I believe that this experience would lead you to unlock an old life to a better and superior new one, which you would call it as the miracle or synchronicity. This coincidence, which seems to be fit out of aspects miraculously, makes the message from the universe become a sacred journey that threads all stories of humanities in the universe together, regardless of the ethnic you are. The whole truth reveals in this coincidence, which seems to be fit out of aspects miraculously, makes the message from the universe become a sacred journey that threads all stories of humanities in the universe together, regardless of the ethnic you are. The whole truth reveals in a comprehensive level of the wisdom. Let me say these things straight to be a little part in helping you to have an enlightenment that you would turn away to live a life automatically when you are accessing to a tuning process. You don't have to live a life anxiously without end. You don't have to put a pressure on your shoulders just because you want to live happily in this material world. Of course, most people like to attach themselves with tangible things. The things you can see with physical eyes, the things you can touch with your physical hands, and even emotions fulfilled with desires, so that you are struggling to grab everything tirelessly because you are being led by those contrasting emotions with a confusing mind. A matter I want to tell now is about how to approach to the core essence of a life, which is an ultimate purpose for all of us. That's a very reason for our presence in the world, and it's the priority mission for taking a breath of this lifetime. I'm sure that some of you might never feel interested in this matter before, but I'm sure either that after today on, you would have a more open mind to understand knowledge and the truth in the supreme life. What I will say next isn't a religious doctrine and absolutely not a strict belief or a superstition, but you would better to believe enough to believe and have a trust in your own wisdom. You should feel unattached. Don't believe anything without a fair reason and have a faith in something without truly considering it with your own wisdom. Your life is in your hands. To discover a wisdom of the universe within is the most important mission of all humanities who live on this planet. More than this passing million years, it's a fairly long time for me to try to have a communication with people around the world as a channeler or a mediator by tuning in and transferring a true essence from the universe over and over again. Of transferring those messages for describing a truth which people all over the world might not have a chance to reach into, but it's a truth you have to feel and have an enlightenment with truly. I know that you are considering with what I said. I know we have to reset a code in a subconsciousness by a heart fulfilled with a true enlightenment. It's similar to a renewable process for you to live an old mind to a new one with a special method called jumping, which I wrote in several books. And I do believe that the messages from the universe will be masterpieces that will help lessen a conflict and suffering in living a life in this messy world. Messages from the universe will make a most convenient and easiest way for you to discover a right method of a consciousness, because it's a kingdom of a happiness. It's the heart of a deep embrace of a subconsciousness, which you would embrace with your own heart. When the time comes, you would sense to some special feelings from a signal and special frequency sent directly to you from the universe. This is a time to touch your heart and perceive what essences as well as feelings inside. Please give it a try to send a feeling to your heart and kindly ask it that, how is your feeling now? Touching that feeling, touching a heavenly energy that sleeps quietly in your heart, touching so deep that you could find a true essence hidden inside your tender heart, which is full of love, good intentions, and a powerful energy. This is a time you discover an ultimate key to unlock a life like what all humanity discover a true spirit in an old age. Today, I think we should torch a fresh light of an enlightenment to shine for leading a way for our descendants. This book is like a scripture, providing you a supreme knowledge of a wisdom of a light, and the knowledge about the great subconsciousness. From now on, to reach into a spiritual process or tune in a right frequency of a mind is becoming to be and one of the most ordinary things in the next era. Humanities in the new era could understand and tune in an emotional state or subconsciousness quickly and effectively. When you are tuning with a subconsciousness truly, you'd be free from loneliness, emptiness, and other negative feelings. Please know that we are going to unfold the most magnificent experience by your own self. You should know your life truly. To learn and practice through your experiences are a secret exercise and a precious lesson for all of us, humans in this world. Please bear in mind and remind yourself repeatedly that you have an ultimate purpose: to live a life freely in the form of a happiness or any form else, for receiving a variable outcome as best as it could be. I know that you are struggling to persuade something or someone to trust in your life, struggling for solving a mystery for yourself. Furthermore, you keep living worthily by elevating a level of your subconsciousness up for stepping from an old self to a higher new one, which has a true freedom. This is an important time for me to transfer a wisdom of the universe to your spirit in a DNA, genes, and subconscious level. When completed, they all would merge to be in oneness with the subconsciousness of the universe. I know that you all have to take a difficult test over and over again, which might discourage you, but at last, it will purify your soul to be in a higher self. Please learn to discipline your own faith. Please learn to have an insight in a great intention or free will. When you could achieve all of those mentioned above, you discover and live intact,ly and freely on this planet. This is a critical time for me to transmit a wave frequency to your spirit in a DNA level, genes, subconsciousness, for linking your superconsciousness with the universe. I know that you all have to pass countless life tests. You should bear in mind that all of those polish you to be a superior self. Please learn to write down your destiny by your own hands. Learn to realize through a great intention or a free will which permits you to discover a core essence of the life on this planet bravely and freely. The knowledge I want to transfer to all of you now is the messages I want to touch and listen to a true desire in your own heart, which always want to communicate with you. Please feel that you are going to understand your heart more. Please acknowledge that you are going to listen to a sound from your spirit more. Please see a value in an enlightenment hidden inside your subconsciousness. Please have an awareness in an existence of your ego self. Now you are coming to understand your pure life, freeing from an ego. When you complete all of exercise of the messages from the universe, following an instruction, you will understand yourself more. You will familiar with a mildly shaking force of DNA in a magnetic state living inside deeply and transfer a special wave frequency in your own emotions, thoughts, and a subconsciousness for freeing you from own thinkings or an own life completely. It's a time you should know that our world's changed completely. It's a change of a life cycle, which automatically forces everything to step out to the new age world, the whole new world you always long for from, which is the world you could setting a goal with soul plan. Could you still live in this modern world? It's full of confusion, complications, deficiency, and deviation from a changing magnetic field. Now, I believe that we are channeling a great subconsciousness of the universe with your frequency. We are channeling your great consciousness in an original state with a dedicated self for you to set free from any obsessions or attachments which always discourage you to ignore, to seek for the truth of the great life. You have to break free from a judgment and prejudice attached tightly in your heart. I think this is an optimal time for you to touch with true feelings hidden in the heart and a great subconsciousness. I believe that you are going to learn some tricks for making your life better than ever with a successful and true happiness. Please believe me, the life is not that hard. You could discover your true life hidden within a subconsciousness. You will come to understand the truth by channeling cells with a spirit or a consciousness. When you understand them deeply in a spiritual level, you are going beyond and passing through a ceiling of a human limitation completely. You are stepping out to become a human in a new generation exactly. Genetic codes and DNA are memorizing, then telling you stories of your own life profoundly in a cellular level. So a whole story would complete as its own and reconstruct to be a large piece. Please acknowledge that when you converse and exchange an enlightenment of a life with the universe right now, you get a valuable experience to live a life in this world. You'd finally come to understand that how to live a life happily and successfully. And then you'd have a secure life which is truly free, doesn't take advantage with anyone else, and has a fulfillment in every wish longed for. When you see through your life more thoroughly, the curiosity and the spirit of an enlightenment would shine brightly simultaneously. I believe that this beautiful interaction of messages from the universe, number one, would be a beginning to urge you to make room for an acceptance and understanding your own self. And when you understand yourself truly, it's easier to accept and understand anyone else more than before several times. It's generally believed that humans were born into this world live in whatever way a faith destined us to be. As a result, most people live in a mundane cycle and accept an endless pain because they think it's inevitable and we follow the God's will. In truth, humans could write over their own faith by their own hands. You could choose to take a dream job and live valuably following your desire and be who you want to be. Be whoever that goes out of a threat, of a fear, and obsession. Be whoever that you would be proud of. Have a happiness and peace when looking back in next 10 years. What liberates you from a fear and weakness are a wisdom and bravery in your heart. These things help you to understand the truth of the life and urge you to break free from a striking without end in the old life and world, which is so boring that you barely wait for something interesting to come over at the door. I believe that to link with the universe this deeply is to transmission a delicate frequency wave of a subconsciousness in a quark quantum level, which makes you to come to understand the life better than ever. You could get the experiences and lessons every single day as scheduled and will notify you beforehand. These messages from the universe reveal the truth of the life. After listening to contents, you'd better reconsider your life truly. Let's find a diamond buried in a crescent of your heart and polish it up to be in a good condition like before, and then its vivacious light would turn the world and your life miraculously. When you are experiencing with unexpected forms of the life, you'd know exactly and able to tell that what is the most supreme and deepest experience you get since you were born. It was a delicate feeling propelled by an interplay of your subconsciousness and the reality. Furthermore, you might learn that how to live a life in the most perfect and happiest form ever. I wish that you would come to meet with an answer in some days. These messages from the universe are trying to communicate with you countless times you would only imagine in several ways. For example, books, friends, and family, or even social networks. Those are messages I want to transmit for perking your eyes up and perceiving a reality. It's normal that some of you come to easily familiar and accept me as a part of your own self as a result of the fact that I always look upon you numerous times with this pair of caring eyes. But today, I decide to reveal myself because of your exceptionally special heart. Another matter you have to remind in your heart is that you all have the ultimate mission, and it is a reason why you were born into this world. Do you want to know that? Was it a sacred mission? Please know that to live a life with the greatness, preciousness, and have a true value are your most prioritized mission in this lifetime. Of course, it's a new issue for you, so you need a while to absorb and grasp it in the whole piece. Please realize and accept that whenever you win over all viruses and diseases that always eat your spirit inside in every single second, you could live happily without any concerns and in the most perfect way that everyone would only dream of. It's time for you to break free from jealousy, scarcity, hatred, pressure, confusion, facility, and agony. Please look forward and radiate the dazzling light of love. The mission you should handle right now is radiating an aura from a crux of a heart. Whenever you do that, you'll find that you could access to a success and a true happiness profoundly. Are you ready yet, dear humanities? Are you ready yet, my dearest friends? Every single one of us is human, humans who have flesh and blood, humans who love to live a life peacefully without any disturbances, humans who are trying to seek for the truth of the life amongst an agony and an endless pain, humans who are trying to smile bitterly to a dissatisfied and unacceptable faith brought in path of life, humans who have a goal to elevate a quality of life in this lifetime. Are you ready yet to clear yourself clean like a cut glass? Are you ready yet to expose who you really are to the world? Are you ready yet to make an affirmation with yourself that was your true desire? Are you ready yet to live an extreme life? Are you ready yet to live from an unpleasant things that always hurt you and live for a new prosperous one? Are you ready yet to pass through obstructions to an ultimate goal which is supreme and sweet than you imagined? Are you ready yet to live a life on this planet with a tenderness, respecting without any hardness and weaknesses? I look upon you and do know that you are being tested repeatedly in the world. I know that several times you feel exhausted, no room for physical and mental fuels to drive you to live any further. You feel that it's unfair to let you take lessons this hard. This time, I want to tell you that it's not a coincidence for you to be forced to take tests several times. Since the earth formed from a vast gas and dust clouds, it has never made a mistake by sending a false lesson to anyone. Of course, all of ethnics, including humans, are evolved from a genuine subconsciousness, which is full of a complexity and delicacy than other species. Please notice that you are only creature in the world which has a level of intelligence and awareness. You are a living thing that isn't willing to live a pointless life until die, just to be no one, just one of garbages on earth. You should live a graceful life by letting the world know that who you really are to the world and which lifestyles you deserve. You have to prove that you're worth living a designed life. That's the first message I want to transmit to you. Please keep an eye on the next chapter of the messages from the universe. As scheduled, we have an appointment and I will transmit a wave frequency bestowed from the universe directly to your subconsciousness. Today, I would reveal some truths to you for perking your eyes up to see a true value and a goodness of the life, for you to discover a core essence of being a human and the truth of the life. These all are an important reason I desire to communicate directly with your own subconsciousness. Please bear in mind that finally you could pass all goodness and badness happening in the most critical time of the life beautifully and gracefully. You would surely find an ultimate mission for living on this planet. You would get a supreme and extreme experience than what you had all of the life. It's a miracle, which I told you. It's the deepest state of a subconsciousness that you'd better discover it with your own self. You should keep a promise to yourself firmly that you will live variably as the deepest desire lingering in since you were born, and then consider what and which things restrain your mental and physical self in the world. I want you to stop whinging to what happened in your life and start to consider a true value of those things instead. When seeing another side of a coin, you see a value of love and goodness blooming within. You don't have to act like someone else for an acceptance. You don't have to mimic and live in everyone else's tread. You don't have to be superior to everyone. Only thing matters is you should be yourself. Live a life in your own uniqueness, in your own incomparable subconsciousness. If so, that's a time when you could face the exceptionally special experience with your own heart. It's a critical time for me to reveal you a truth, and at the same time, you should accept your own truth either. I've opened all of my truths to you until a last bit in the messages from the universe, which I'm transmitting to you now. I would like to plant a fruit for thought to you. Please spare me a little time to consider who you really are, what's the purpose of life, how to live gracefully, and is it exact with what you designed? If not, please figure out which way should it be and how to approach in that desired path. Who you really are, what is an ultimate purpose to be born and to live in this world? What's the most prioritized mission in living in the world? What's an ultimate purpose in being a human? You might find an answer for a solution by tuning a frequency with me, which is a mediator or a channeler. It could be said that you are linking with the universe through me. This is a crucial time. I want to tell that you should reveal who you really are. and the fervent desire of a life to your subconsciousness. I beg you to tune with me through a dream. I beg you to tune with me through a subconsciousness. I beg you to tune with me through these messages from the universe, which I intend to transmit to you as many times as I could. I'm trying to communicate with every single one of you, no matter who you are, through a dream, imagination, feeling, sensation, and subconsciousness, or even a tuning frequency, which I'm transmitting an immense energy of the universe to all of you. Don't forget to do homework assigned, taking time to dive to a very core of your heart that who you really are. How to get out of an own way and let your life shine. What's an ultimate purpose of your virtuous life? What's a reason for you to be born in this cover? What's a sacred thing you should discover by your own self? Please ask yourself that. What's the core essence of your life? I really hope that all the questions lingering in your heart would lead you to feel interested in tuning up DNA and subconsciousness together. It's the most important thing that you have to assure with the code of your life and subconsciousness that you want to tune with me, and then we could have a conversation with each other through my subconsciousness freely. Please open your mind and have a conversation with your subconsciousness truly. Don't judge anything with unreliable thoughts based on an emotion only. If you could pass all of these tests, you would understand the truth of the life. Please allow me to get inside your heart and urge a softly shaking force to happen. That mildly shaking force in the deep level within your subconsciousness could wake you up from a deep sleep and enlighten your soul to bloom miraculously. I think that it's time for me to transmit a finely wave frequency of the universe, which is known as the messages from the universe to you. I intend to send out these sacred messages from a very first to a point that you meet with answers seeking for. This is an utmost important mission of a new released book named The Messages from the Universe that you are carrying right now. I hope that it will be distributed to as many people possible for conveying this confidentiality. This book would be translated as many languages as I can. You might consider it as a scripture instructing a method of how to approach to the enlightenment of the life, or an understanding in the truth of the world, both in the present and foreseeable future infinitely. I hope you are understanding in the basic concept truly that why I have to transmit a message from the universe to you. This is not a personal issue. This is our shared mission to merge the present with the future altogether and comprehend the virtuous truth in the universe level unceasingly. I beg you to unfold the truth in the universe level by your own subconscious. Please prepare yourself and open your mind to take a lesson in the next chapter, The Messages from the Universe, number 2, in a very soon. I wish for the best that you would finally meet with the Supreme Energy Source by letting your subconsciousness reaching to a new and beautiful life exactly by your own self. I wish you could meet with a sacred key to unlock a very core truth of the life. I wish you could find the love and the greatness inside your heart from now on. I wish you all the best with a deeply felt love and an appreciation from my heart. I wish you all the best with my spirit, which is fulfilled with a good intention to my own self and, of course, to you all. Chapter 2. My dearest, finally we meet again as I promised in Chapter 1. Today is also another important day. I'd like to transmit a message from the universe to you. It's a very time you should discover and tell yourself that was our ultimate purpose in life. I remember that I asked you many times that was the purpose of your life and why our soul was destined to reincarnate in this cover. Don't hesitate to raise your hand up and answer me if you already found it. I remember that I asked you all in the messages from the universe, Chapter 1, that did you realize it or not that who you really are, and do you know how to get into that desired goal of a soul? Do you know that was our strong intention in the life? Do you have an idea that what secrets reside on this planet? It couldn't be denied. If one said that everyone has his own uniqueness, but every single one shares a common purpose to learn and help one another, to reach to the supremacy of humanhood. I feel appreciated and overwhelmed that you are trying to seek to understand a value of life by your own self. If I named it as the enlightenment of the life, it might sound somewhat exaggerated, but this is the truth that you all are coming to realize soon. Sometimes you might feel lonely and distinct from a society. Some of you might not be an extroverted person. Some of you might be a bookworm who loves to spend a spare time reading a ton of books in various sections alone, including a life matter, a psychological issue, cosmology, science, or even astronomy. If so, I want to tell you that you are special. So, the universe doesn't bestow you an ordinary life. Instead, it gives you an arduous one. But in the end, all's well that ends well. You all should live a life willingly as your heart desires. In outsider's eyes, some of you might be misunderstood to be a depressive disorder or bipolar person because sometimes you show two expressions at the same time. Of course, you aren't sick. There's a reasonable explanation of this symptom. You are being like that due to an especially ability to exist to a deeper emotion than anyone else. Firstly, you should have a fair answer for a question that who you really are and what's the purpose of this lifetime. It's the way life goes. Sometimes you might innocent as if you were a child. Sometimes you might find that you are trying so hard to suppress a childishness. Join inside and deal with everything with a seriousness to show everyone that how mature you are. But today, I'd like you to try to unleash that hidden figures which you are caged it inside, whether you know it or not. for a check of a mercy and life. I know that most of you don't care any bit how the world goes. Most of you like to live freely and peacefully. Your serene spirit prefers to doing a research than receiving it without proving the assumption yourself. You might have a unique lifestyle which is totally different from anyone else. To live a life powerfully always had a meaning for you. I don't wonder any bit if you don't extremely like where we are. In fact, it's not your fault because you are forcing to face and tangle with a tendril of this messy world. So, how could you possibly like it? Sometimes you might feel lonely, but it's just temporary. It would pass before you even realize its existence. This is one of numerous reasons I have to transmit messages from the universe to you. I look upon you many times with a love, a good intention, and a strong belief in your great properties. Love and beloved, understanding, noticing, and having keen eyes to see something valuable in this world truly. It's time for you to have a full concentration with your own self. It's time for you to understand your own life, your own self, and learn to live in this world deeply. You have many skills, and you know it already, whether it be a leadership, barefully to express a true demand, or anything else composed to be your style. I always affirm that it's important to transmit messages or a wave frequency to you all, which humans might name it as tuning through a subconsciousness, for letting you out to have an extreme experience to live in this world. I'm trying to tell some truth, and you should open the mind wider to perceive that, because it would help you to step over the old limitation of emotions, thoughts, and being a human with an old instinct. Today, we would unlock a genetic code and DNA altogether. After completed, you would feel that your life's greater than before and feel grateful for every breath. You might get used to make a meditation. You might be used to practice a subconsciousness in many forms, in a Western style, like doing yoga, and the mindfulness of breathing in, an ancient way to get into a deep mind. These all are a message transmission for letting you to have an awareness and understand. As a result, you will step up to a next level of a subconsciousness easily. Instead of sticking yourself into a madness, agony, anxiety, confusion, inferiority, you should know these all are just a lesson which is sent directly from this planet to challenge you. You had better learn and understand a sacred method to pass and step up to a next lesson, which is to let everything be as it, to love, to have a mercy, and to share. To have a conversation by transmitting messages from the universe is a time I'm trying to tell you that you should accept and brave enough to face with an agony, happiness, fulfilled desires, disappointments, and a reality of the world with an intrepid heart along with the wisdom. We could live a life happily and abundantly. If you can look over a pain agony, disappointment, and despair. These all are a way for you to step out and score into a great life. I want to tell you that what happened with you is a driving force which urged humans to evolve and develop rapidly than other species in the world. Please don't waste a valuable time with negative feelings and feel shamed from unchanging things that happened and passed already. The thing you should consider is you'd better learn to love, to forgive, and remember that they are an improving process that helps you to step into a superior level. I usually ask you, don't I, that do you love and have a faith in yourself yet? Do you understand in your life yet? Do you realize a purpose and value of the life yet? Every breath, every second, and every graceful step of a life are a virtuous meaning of living in the world for you all. Of course, you won't just want to spend this lifetime as an ordinary person, but you should live a life by knowing the value of the life and having a respect with what we call human or living. And surely you should practice to be humble and have a tender mind. You should also live a life strongly, intensely, be yourself and have a strong intention in the life, not using up a life uselessly and departing from the world pointlessly before not even having a true life, but spending a lot of time to catch up with the society and materials. I'm not sure whether you all understand what I said or not. I'm just trying to clarify to you all that you should live a life as desired. You should understand your own thoughts and other fellow men's. My dearest, you might not get used to what I am trying to describe, but what I'm trying to do is touching and sensing to your heart along with the spirit to send out a kindness of my heart directly to your great subconsciousness. Please bear in mind that it's destined from a soul sequence that you have to pass the test of a life, and it's necessary for you to understand a true value of living seriously. Before a message transmission, the most important thing that you should prepare is to make a meditation earlier and clear your mind for receiving message transmissions with a full consciousness. You could sense to an immense source of energies hidden inside you vividly, as if seeing it with physical eyes. Furthermore, you would approach to a greatest experience in the life incredibly. You have known as light worker, the residents of a light territory, or the luckiest inhabitants on this planet. We immigrated from a distant galaxy in an intangible form, an energy field or a spirit, and travel across the universe for many million solar years to be here since many million years ago. You might feel half-hearted and don't believe if I tell the truth that we are a creator, we are a learner which can design a way of the universe and our life with a great potential and exceptionally deep property of a mind. Therefore, we have to travel so far away, crossing the universe repeatedly for learning a life and experiences in this world. I really want and wish that you all have a resolute mind with beliefs and intentions in your life truly. I want you to know that to link my wave frequency with your heart is a tuning of a love and an inner feeling, which is mild force of a wave frequency of a superconsciousness. The superconsciousness mentioned is transferred from the universe to your subconsciousness. I don't want you to surrender with any obstructions. It's no use for you to keep reminding yourself with an agony or a weakness. Please don't mind a darkness because a virtuous light planting inside you already, waiting you to realize its existence. Every time you smile, every time you realize that your own self's variable, the dazzling light of a spirit would light and shine brilliantly from a heart, an endocrine gland composed of a pineal gland situated in the center area of your brain. These are an evolution of a soul, which is a supreme experience. I beg you to touch to an infinite love, a shimmering heart dazzling with the sacred light of a mercy, and realize that my heart's tuning and linking with you right now. Please know that our linkage are a timeless and unconditional love, a detached attachment, integrity, pure and elegant heart. I want you to touch with this feeling, which is a feeling without a struggling and floating above a rule of being a human. You could feel and touch with my heart directly if you take the time seriously to consider what's inside your heart. Please believe me that what you are linking and tuning at this very time is a dazzling light of the greatest love, a sacred method to unleash from being a human. We are linking with the spirit or an original form of a soul, which is an energy field filled with an immense source of a pure soul. I want you to touch with this pure subconsciousness. The pure subconsciousness and intangible wisdom you have in the first place. It makes you to realize a greatness of the life. I'm not telling just about a human nature, which is in physical form, but the endless life you have to live in these cycles until you meet with a greatest vitality of the life and access to nirvana state in Buddhism. Today, I feel that we are linking through a wave frequency with the universe. You should break free from a despair, exhaustion, inferiority, and make an affirmation to yourself that these obstructions are just another challenge sent from the universe, aiming you to enable learning and pass through an own limitation. It's a strong proof that you're worth living in this world. Please believe me that you are entering a virtuous process of practicing a mind, which is the greatest mission for you to discover a life's goal. It's a deep-seated feeling that everyone should realize by his own self. Let's try to delve deep into your heart once again, touch with the power, penetrating and creep over a whole heart. I want you all to know that after passing on these challenges repeatedly from the world and the universe, we are stepping feet to a new era of an energy which we could choose and dictate your faith by your own hands from a very beginning of the life as known as soul plan. The soul plan mentioned is the process of having a fixed goal to born into this world in this day and age. We don't have to live the life hopelessly. We don't have to live the life with the loneliness. You and me are one and the same. And oneness is a strong bond, providing us to communicate through mind power all the times. I could send and transmit a message from a faraway horizon, from the universe to you all, because we share a feeling and have a pure interaction with one another. You should accept and open the mind wider to realize that we all are a sacred light guiding a right way for one another. Some beings in this universe might not have an opportunity to be born in a human form, which is a form that you could make your own choice. Of a sacred mission to tell a secret of the life to you all. Also, the truth of the world and the universe. I know that you have a big dream. I know that your hearts are most powerful. Let's try to touch with your feeling once again. Touch with your heart and let yourself feel overwhelmed. Touch with your heart and feel grateful with the life. Touch with your heart and sense to an endless and fervent desire within. Please touch and have a trust in yourself. Please sense to your great heart deliberately. You should know that it's time for you to open a core essence of yours. What's the core essence mentioned? The only answer mattered is a love, goodness, arrogance, appreciation, and trust composed to be a core of an intrepidity as well as a sacrifice. There are strength and resolute molding to be in oneness with me and the universe. I want you all to savor the life with your heart fully. You might feel fulfilled with the life or not. It depends on your heart. To feel thankful with your life depends on your insights solely. When you approach to a deep feeling inside your spirit, you will realize that a power of life always resides within your heart. It's there a whole time, but you just didn't notice. It's a clear evidence that you finally withdraw from attachments. This is when you could fix deficiencies and rebalance what remains from past lifetimes. The evolution of the life could happen if only you are adjusting a subconsciousness to be a best property. Don't waste a minute with the weakness from now on. Don't regard with an inferiority or think that you are worthless anymore. Actually, it's not like this. You are the only person who always summons a darkness coming in so that a supreme light within is spiritual and hidden. Please assure to your spirit that today would be a greatest day of the life, affirming to yourself that a fortunate and a gracefulness of the life are about to happen once again, starting to value yourself and build a self-esteem up. To feel graceful of the life wholeheartedly is a most important feeling which permits your Holy Spirit to be awakened from a deep sleep and be another supporter to a heaven spirit for remembering a code of an effective spirit from the boundless energy field of the universe. This is like downloading a mindset from the universe to your heart. It is like a password for you to discover a true nature of your heart. This all helps you to easily step over from an old limitation to a sacred evolution, which greatest and smartest self you could be. It's what I wait for a very long time, aiming for you all to finally meet with your true self. I want to tell you that to break free from an old feeling, old limitation, old world depend on your decision solely because you are good of your life. Stop living a life like a loser from now on at this very moment. Don't you know that every shaking breath is a shaking force of an energetic spirit? Please open your mind and understand a true intention. Please have an awareness to your great heart. It's important that we have to stand firmly with the fulfillment in the life, love, and the pure heart. You'd better know that your heart is the most powerful force. If you learn how to use it effectively, you could bestow a best present you would only imagine. I like to guide the easiest way to make it magnanimous. First, try to trust yourself to lead and guide the path of a life. As a result, you go beyond fear. Please start from feeling good with your own self and radiating a love to the world. Try to wake up in each morning with a fresh and forgiving heart, whispering to your soul that you love and feel thankful with every breath and alive. Please have a strong mind with an inevitable faith no matter how good or bad it is. Please live a life with a resolute and intrepid mind. These all above are a transmission. The first step is uploading a secret code of the universe to DNA level of a subconsciousness. You are linking with an awakening of your heart. You are linking with an infinite awareness of the life greater than ever than you could only imagine. When you come to realize and feel that, you would know vividly that how valuable you are. You are living a great life for enlightening as many people as possible along with the world without end. I wish these messages from the universe, chapter 2, would be a fresh start to wake your subconsciousness up. After that, it's only your hands to seize and grasp a complexity of contents for approaching to a desired outcome. We are being our own light. It's not literally a flashlight, but it's the light of wisdom. It could be originate from several sources, galaxy and the universe. The supremacy starts from such an invisible point like a speck of dust that gradually combines into numerous stars, and from pebbles to being an intelligent being like a human. So, of course, you are supremacy mentioned human. From this moment on, I kindly ask you to live with an affection and gracefulness in your life fervently. This is a message I want to transmit from the universe to you all, to your heart. It could be said that this moment is a critical time of human's history, which could turn the life and a way of living incredibly and eternally. Chapter 3. Your dearest, warmly welcome you to a transmission again from the universe to a reality in a subconscious level, in a super-subconscious level, which you and me have a same vision in common. This moment is a critical time for you to realize and conclude a true essence and the right method to take a great leap of a life with a fresh start of a changing process or the most effectively tuning process you'd never imagined. The transmission in this time provides you a chance to tune with the powerful circuit for accessing to something valuable. The evolution of a great life is also a time that you all will discover virtuous properties as same as mine. I always affirm that there's a reason for your existence. You might not realize that your soul made a commitment to seek for a core essence of a life before immigrating to discover. I've tried many times to communicate with you through a subconsciousness and an inner mind all the times for a very long time. If you reconsider seriously, you would know that this isn't the first time we have a communication with one another. Every time I tried to transmit a message to you from my own feeling delivered directly from the universe, you might hear a faint voice whispering in your heart and even feel that it's powerful, but you don't extremely sure what and where it is. You might try to figure it out several times. After those countless struggles, the only answer you come to understand is that living is exactly a present bestowed from the heaven. Its value and preciousness are worth more than gold and any priceless diamonds. To find an enlightenment within is the right way to elevate a soul up to a next state, and is a signal sent from the universe telling you to realize its existence. There is a magnanimous source of energy radiated from a powerful heart wanting to tell you that all barriers and a tough road paved are just challenges. They are missions of a spirit and subconsciousness called rebirth consciousness or rebirth new consciousness. Rebirth consciousness, a deep treatment in the level of cells or DNA, tuning information deeply so that you could jump to a selected time period, which I call jumping coach, or it could be described as to access to a hidden subconsciousness in a Zen method or transmission of Zen. Making a meditation or tuning in with us is a fresh start for receiving a sacred secret of the universe. We all realize that this time's golden age permitting us to break free from abysses of a loneliness, of forgotten subconsciousness, and we are stimulating our true subconsciousness to take a leap to a superior subconsciousness which is being one and the same with the universe. You have an important mission in this world. Whether you understand it or not, please don't waste any time to stick with an old thought. Let it free. Let a feeling that always hides within your heart out to the outside world, while amidst of thoughts, out to find a new one. This is a critical time for you to feel blink, which causes from stimulating a subconsciousness in the deep level so that you could reach out and make a touch with your true life. If you do as instructed in the transmission process from the universe for a while, you would acknowledge and understand your own life like you would never been before. When you understand that key, you could unchain from a shame, feel strong but not too strong in the same time as what I always provide you repeatedly to let you live in harmony and know that you're worth living, and you should know that every single breath to learn and to understand the world deeper than before. You should live a life openly and gracefully. You should have a strong intention in a powerful spirit and a warmth along with the love, along with care. These are what makes you to unleash from a weakness, exhaustion, and foolishness. Please don't waste any time to describe yourself. It doesn't matter. The thing that only matters is your choice of living. Today, if you insist to respond to love with a purity refined from the core of a heart, you would meet with an achievement and discover a true potential within, which hides secretly in your heart easily. You had better spend the rest of your life valuably because the life is so short. You can only live in this comfort in a short while according to an average life expectancy of a human, which is about 50 to 60 years, and not exceed 100 to 110 years. Do you believe if I reveal that a major change in the life does not depend on the lifespan or cellular reconstruction solely, but factors that playing an important role in the life-changing are an awareness or the enlightenment derived from a subconsciousness and a content that is deeper than any words could describe. You should face and learn so that you could understand it by your own self. You should prepare for fighting against with any hindrance as best as you can. Please don't hesitate and be confused with any matters in your life. Please don't hesitate to say no, to stick with painful memories and let these negative feelings go. Please have a faith, love, understanding, and gentle with what happened. Sometimes a life brings you to meet with a misfortune. Sometimes you face with a discouraging feeling, which seems like a ghost of an agony. It haunts you to feel despair and pain. But no matter how hard they are, you should remind yourself to stand still with a strong heart. You don't have to cage yourself in an exactingly restricted life. You don't have to mimic and struggle to be someone else. Just live a life independently like you would before. That's all, and you will fare better in the blink of eyes. The only thing you would better try is to feel and sense with your heart for acknowledging to a presence of a happiness shining from a free spirit and a life without striking. It could be said that this true happiness blooms and radiates from your heart, so it's unlimited and inexhaustible resources that you can produce anytime needed. This is a critical time for us to reconsider and seriously concentrate on the mind-shaking force of a subconsciousness laid in everyone's heart. I had never done some research about a history of humanity before, so I can't exactly say that when did the life begin on Earth or how old is human evolution, but of working on achieving expertise in the history of a spirit since I was young, so that I can become a spiritual master like today. I can confirm that our spirits travel across the universe and play on a stage through time. Since the universe is still young, the thing that really matters is an unconditional love and a strong intention to discover a love and a warmth filling your heart to bloom like a flower. We are immersing and tuning in the greatest time of a subconsciousness. We are searching and meeting with a variable moment of a life. We have to bear in mind that it's important to break free from a trap and some restraints which is screwing us innumerable times. Please believe in yourself that you have a great potential. It's an innate ability or a nature's life force derived from a prime spirit. It's a skill you should comprehend, adopt, and discovered by your own self. Did you know that we are discovering some powerful value and feeling already? No matter the circumstance that you may be going through, just push through it and bear in mind that this is a long journey of the life which you should overcome any obstructions coming in the way and continuing to work with a powerful and valuable mind. You should live a life by wiping out all anxieties, depressions, weaknesses, and chaotic. A great deal of power in a fulfilled heart. Only a thing provides you to access to an abundance of the universe. The endlessness of the life could occur only when you have an awareness in an immoral state. It's not restricted by a physical body or thoughts, but its intangible issues brought from a life awareness which you could access by touching and tuning your mind to receive a wave frequency in a jumping program or DNA method solely. As for an important step, reprogramming a subconsciousness and growing a new knowledge into a brain, cells, or spirit, begin by wiping the spiritual and physical gravity out as a mind-shaking force, permitting a spirit to break free from burdens. Please believe me that this is a critical time you should unleash your own self from restraints that always make us upset and feel discouraged. Instead of feeling pained with what happened, just accept and have a gut to forgive yourself that then step through all goodnesses. After passing that challenging bridge of mind, you would shine brightly from a diamond heart inside. I believe that we all could discover a life-changing process, just a blink of eyes that you let your spirit free from struggling, agitation, pleasure, scarcity, and inferiority, which you always whisper to your own spirit that you aren't good enough. Please erase all those and reset your mind that you know exactly how valuable you are to the world and feel grateful with your own life profoundly. Please don't feel embarrassed if you burst into tears in the public. The thing you should really feel shamed is when you refuse to accept the truth, love, and goodness instead. Regardless of a great amount of crying, is valueless if you aren't aware about how great your life is. To whine about an agony repeatedly without end isn't a key permitting you to an enlightenment, especially if you aren't ready to let a negative change go. You know already, so I don't have to underline again that it doesn't seem to have any benefits, just making it worse by tangling your web of life messier than before. You have to use the superior feeling given from a great subconsciousness. If not, your heart couldn't stand shaking a potential wave frequency of a greatest life. Of course, you live in the same world, but not entirely the same because after the sacred process, your refined spirit would finally meet with the greatness and the magnificence in your own life. I want to affirm that this critical time we should try to tune with a powerful heart along with the love and gracefulness. We all have a same mission as a Holy Spirit which called soul plan. It's time for you and me to let negative feelings free, which cause you to feel despair and stick to an indignation, agony, or even a loneliness. Please give it all up. Stop punishing your own self with negative thoughts and feeling inferiority. Now you should bold enough to accept a reality and step out of a comfort zone. You just have to accept your own self as a true human. You just have to know that this life isn't useless. If you are positively sure that you are precious and worth living a great life, as I tried to tune for assisting you to step through a limitation and passing to a time when you could access to the truth of a life gracefully. Now, while we are tuning with one another through a subconsciousness, I want to tell that you are experiencing with the high status of loving. You should know that you could change the potential force of a life and this world by your own hands. You could discover a powerful heart hidden inside and understand life truly as if looking through a clear water. You have to win over a darkness and have a strong heart like a steel to pass our challenges. It could be said that every single of us has an enlightened light within, waiting to shine brightly. As in an imagination in the childhood, we often imagine that we were a supreme being living on a heaven, being in oneness with the universe, and had a bond with deities, along with this special way to deal with a mysterious afterlife, to approach to an intense feeling wakes the enlightenment up to radiate and shine boundlessly. We should know exactly that your life's precious. Don't hesitate to remove dust particles stuck in your eyes out so that you could see that virtuous light clearly. Be brave to embrace your uniqueness. You would know that this is the most valuable and greatest time in this lifetime. Sometimes you might not realize that you are in pinnacle of a life, and when you know, it's too late. Some days nothing seems to go right. You feel pain, desperate, lonely, sad, lost, or even a tough time when you feel that this world's full with a brutality. It's not exaggerated to say that this is a short of time. After every storm, there's always a rainbow, like shimmering stars. Its beauty would never shine to any eyes if there is no darkness on the sky. Everything has a perfect pair of its own, like a day and night, a light and darkness, a man and woman. This fact applies to your life. There are a lot of tragedy and there are particular magnificence waiting to come. I believe that you are becoming to realize to a greatest source of a power from a discovery within the heart. You are acknowledging to a limitless power tuning with the heart. I beg you to come to realize that you could discover potential power of subconsciousness from breathing, linking 7 chakras all together and checking mildly to cells along with the DNA and the deep felt emotion within your heart. You are rousing a happiness to its wake. You are stimulating a love to bloom and expand throughout your heart like a flower. When the box of your memories flips open, numberless experiences laid within would help you to grasp a truth and understand your life truly. It also makes you to feel grateful with a powerful spirit, which enables you to break free from a fear and weakness. Please give it a try by closing your eyes and pay concentration on the world and the universe truly. This exercise will allow you to touch with numerous stars that swing in the sky and hug the boundless universe. This experience happens when linking with a true self or an original self, which is your virtuous and supreme self. I beg you to do it with me again. Let's close your eyes and tune your mind with stars, the world, and the universe. When this connection is tuned, you might approach to a superior feeling that a power of the life blooms and expands in your heart limitlessly. You could sense to a shimmering light of innumerable stars from a horizon beaming directly to your heart. This very moment, please notice that you are touching with a delicate, vivacious, and serene heart already. An unconditional love, power, and a pure heart would touch with your heart softly. Your strongest spirit would express itself when this time comes. The heart would be consoled softly and bathed with the power of the life or from a great subconsciousness which is roused to its wake from a deep sleep of a meditation. I'd like to confirm that a communication with the universe happening right now isn't a coincidence. After sensing an immense energy source, you would step feet in a perfect life. This is, by all means, a connection. It's a wave of oneness or the path of unity. It means you are touching with the core spirit of a subconsciousness. The important thing I want to convey is you have to discover a sacred mission along with a true mission of the life as quick as you could. A reason I have to affirm you is because we all have only a short while to live in this world. This is an important lifetime. So many of you might want to unleash a superior self to the universe for answering to a question that, what is a true mission? This is a reason why this lifetime is so important. This is a crucial time of an evolution of a supra-consciousness. This is a reason why you should affirm with your own self to the importance of this time. From this moment on, the world would gradually change from a subconscious level, DNA, to a bigger level like a mind tuning process. So it's important that we have to adjust a magnetic field and a great spirit to live in a harmony in this new age. Don't forget that you don't intend to live a life for your own self, but also for rebalancing and adjusting a magnetic field of the world so that it would be well suited for the evolution of humanity in the new era approaching. It's high time for us to live into a great time. Many of us have to step across an ego, attachment, arrogance, peculiar. Those feelings are a kite guiding you away from a goal set. I beg you to have a fair judgment in considering information. Please draw a wisdom in assessing everything before believing. Don't let thoughts hurt you repeatedly without end. Please don't stick to old thoughts. They won't do any good excepting from chaining you so tightly that you can't continue walking in the right way. The major change approaching in the new eras, a change happening deeply in a subconscious level, genes, DNA, and awareness. Please employ your wisdom to consider a fact for a supreme understanding. It's a time for refining a subconsciousness to shine like a precious stone. No matter where you are in this world, this major change mentioned would affect you in one way or another. Don't neglect it and lose a golden opportunity in the life in this lifetime. Now we all are stepping feet into a golden age, which is the age we can access to secret wisdoms, including the wisdom of the life. It's a time for you, me, every single one of us to have a true awareness that we all should live a life as deepest as we could in this world. Please pay attention and perceive an evolution of humanities profoundly or understand the life of humanities truly. To live is to learn. On the other hand, to learn is to live. Countless pains and innumerable suffering received would be a valuable lesson guiding a way to break free from an own subconsciousness, which always restrained you. After that, I'm glad to tell you that your spirit would float across the sky to another end of a horizon. And there's a new and supreme life waiting to embrace you. I believe that when you reach there, truths would unfold themselves and nothing would left on your mind. As a result, the free spirit refined would fly ahead speedily to a critical time in the history of humanities. Like a seed planted in the ground, the enlightenment in your spirit would light further. Our descendants would break free from an old limitation and transfer a sacred wisdom to a next generation, and so on. It could be said that in the next 100 years, humanities would learn how to command a subconsciousness or discover a way to unlock the life in a way you are trying to learn, which is to make a meditation and tune with the higher up through a subconsciousness between you and the universe. This way is made specially for you to pass and prove by your own self. When you attain to this high state, you would have an ability to take a leap in quantum level, or it could be described that it is a jump enabling you to have a whole new life and live an old one entirely. After that, you will come to understand the truth of the life, which is the enlightenment and an ability to see the truth. For God's sake, it's a phrase you always said so often that it becomes a catchword. Please take a time to consider whose deities you called for. Maybe the real gods is your feeling when accessing to a purest nature. The gods is a true awareness of the life, which is a profound matter of your life. It's important that we should discover to the purest nature mentioned, which is the core of the life and the spirit. You should tune your spirit with the universe all the time, because every time you do so, you would feel happy and fulfilled, sensed to a shaking force of fiercely than ever. Furthermore, you would feel that you finally find the right path. You would discover a great life that you always long for. As a result, these discoveries will save you a substantial time from confusion and a false belief. Please try to tune your heart with me, a supreme subconsciousness, a fervent sensation, and a true spirit. If you could do so, you might find an answer that lay within yourself, and it's the best answer received. After that, you might live the life valuably due to an awareness of a preciousness in your own self, and have a strong intention to live as a completed human all the time. It's an elevation and goes beyond the limitation of the old world, which hangs heavy with the fear, sensitivity, jealousy, grudge, hatred, loneliness, agony, and suffering to a new one. It's time for us to touch with a brave heart. You should step over a mirage or a subconsciousness which always like to judge everything with its own standard. You have to break free from a round of rebirth, struggling without end, and the mind that always judges everything with an absent mindedness. In fact, you have to categorize nothing at all except from learning through experiences and understanding a way to live qualified life. When approaching to these two, you will find your mercy, the enlightenment of the spirit, a faith, and be free from a religious belief at all. In this modern world, in the era of a new and evolved subconsciousness, it's a time that all of you are crossing over some important lessons to another end of a bridge. The lessons mentioned are something causing you to feel pain, disappointed, and confused. You should accept yourself and truly understand that all of us have a way to access to a sacred within, whether it be a tuning of a mind, making a meditation, or living with the love and blessing of a subconsciousness. It's a time that we all have a time for concentrating with our own self and touching with a powerful heart, never been better. It's a very time that our spirits are passing sacred lessons from the old world or an old self and take a leap to a new and a great life. When we jump and approach to the evolution of the life, we could unchain from an agony, confusion, and a weakness. You might not know that, in fact, we passed a period of trial and error repeatedly for a very long time ago. We passed a time of discomfort and pain already. So, this is a time we should let the world know who we really are. I would like to tell another truth to you all that our ancestors living about 38 million years ago was originated from a complexity of a DNA sequencing combined from an evolved subconsciousness, and finally being evolved and top of the line species, at least in our belief, a human. In past, humans evolved in many forms, from being single-cell organisms to a Homo sapiens, and today another major chance has come to your door. You could elevate and evolve a spirit to the highest, supreme state because you realized already that there are superior life you could live in and know what the true value of the life is. This is precious time that you are going to turn the life around in a positive way. Earlier, you might live in a pathetic life, struggling without end to improve the quality of a living, materials, and try to cover yourself with things you thought it could make you more valuable. But I'm happy to say that it doesn't need to be like that from this moment on. This is a time we all should eradicate contaminants causing from various thoughts, possessions, negative feelings, and An imagination of living a perfect life, as in a belief of the material world, I assure that they aren't a key, and they bring us to be free from an old life. Each day, each month, each year passed. A question is, what or who blind us? An answer is that a negative feeling hidden in our own thoughts is the one who did that. We were blind from confusing thoughts. A negative side urged us repeatedly to be a miserable, greedy people and full of a confusion. But when we finally understand the true essence of the life, we would break free from the old world easily than never. We would be free from negative thoughts because you aren't attaching with the fear, beliefs, and shame. We would feel we could truly understand ourselves, see every aspect of the life truly, and acknowledge a profoundly of the life. Everything combined brings us to approach to the perfect life. Could you imagine that? This is a right moment, so great that I couldn't help being excited. When we step across and pass this great moment of the life and subconsciousness gracefully, we all, humanities, would change a lifestyle entirely. I believe that this is the most important time of us. This miracle moment earned if only you are brave enough to step out from a thread of a comfort zone in your own self to the new one, which understand, truly realize a value of the life and wipe all misunderstandings and craft in the mind out since the beginning of this lifetime. You should trust your own instinct wholeheartedly. You have to avoid being distracted from an illusion or the deviation of the world causing from the major changing of an immense magnetic field. This moment is the right time to adjust a frequency of a mind to be greatest. When you complete this, you will automatically know that this is the very core of a changing process from an old to a new subconsciousness. This is the spiritual elevation of all humanities which will happen in the next few decades from today. My dearest, I know it's not a piece of cake to grasp that we are shaking from a wave frequency of a wonderful mind transmitted directly from the universe. I know that it's rather hard to deal with the tremendous change and the coming of an age. The endlessness of the round of a rebirth urges us to complete a sacred mission of the life as quickly as possible. It's an accelerated process of subconsciousness and spirits in the new energy era, which everyone should break free from a state of confusion and agony in the old world. I believe that a supreme key of the life and a powerful heart is being on its way to you all. Perhaps you might get it from a next message. The energy from joining with the universe would change your life entirely, as though it was crackling lightning amongst a pitch dark, shining to wipe all darknesses and bottom and the life out entirely. We would sense to the powerful energy. We would touch an immense source of energy latent in the heart. We would access to a true spirit hidden inside. Let's stretch out of your soul whether you could reach to a powerful life as desired or not. You would never lose a strong intention and faith toward it. You should have a resolute faith and ready to experience the worst case scenario with a strong heart. If so, you would meet with any test and people coming on their way without reluctance. Please take care of your heart and your spirit so they are in the strongest and healthiest state as you could, protecting them as best as you could manage with a powerful and faithful heart. When you could link the boundlessly energy field with mine, from this moment on, your life would be turned around in a positive way as though it were a flipped coin. You would be a dearest and a pleasant friend to everyone, and you would shine a bright light through any words and expressions. Please believe that this is the very beginning of reprogramming of a new life. It's a transferred memories and spirits from an old life to a new one. Moreover, it's better than an old one due to a refined and remote process. And when it's completed, you will live in harmony with the nature and be in oneness with the subconsciousness truly than ever. It's far better than you could imagine. It's wonderful. You will see a miracle with your own eyes. A miracle in that you are being a main actor who is unchained from a failure in the old world and step out to a fulfillment, happiness, and power in the new world. This would become a new heaven shared between us. Please trust your own heart, your spirit, and believe in a perception of your subconsciousness. If you try to listen to a whisper of a soul, your life from this moment on was experienced with a delightful awareness easily and obviously. You don't need to ask anyone for an answer and wait for it to be proved, because what you are experiencing and perceiving are an exceptionally exquisite situation which enables you to be secure, firm, and have a fulfilled desire profoundly. I strongly believe that you all would finally experience with the preciousness altogether with me, just trying to love, feeling happy, and sensing a powerful heart. You will exclaim excitedly to your spirit that from this moment on, I would live a life with a serene and cheerful spirit, along with a heart radiating a love, having a trust in the life, and an invisible energy of a goodness. At last, it's a heart full of tenderness as well as a mercy. Our lives is on the verge of an iceberg of a history of humanities. So, this is the time you should dare to let the world know that you will live a life powerfully, and you do intend to transform an old subconsciousness into a new one as best as one could imagine, full of the light of an enlightenment, full of the love and a cheerfulness, full of an exceptionally perfect heart. This very moment, I have the same feeling like when I'm transferring a sacred power from the universe to you all. My dearest, I want to tell that it's time that you have to write your own destiny by your own hand. You have to build the power of a love and a true happiness up in your heart. You'd better bring a serenity and power to your life limitlessly. This is an unlocking of a life and a subconsciousness through your DNA truly. Please try to tune with a tiny of mind power, and meditation resulted from transferring a special frequency wave from me to you. Please let your heart free and make room for touching with the balanced energy, and then you would approach to sacred knowledge in the communication. You are understanding your own heart and me already in this moment. It's a feeling you feel as if you were bodiless. It's a feeling received when we are communicating with each other. It's a feeling of a strong and powerful spirit. We have a strong intention to merge a supreme life together, to link an experience of a subconscious changing, and to raise a subconsciousness of the world up and all humanities to be in a higher state in the New Age world simultaneously. The subconsciousness being transferred is transferred by the strongest and most powerful procedure existing from this moment on. You are being a part of this sacredness forever. Let's plant and grow a great life from breathing in and out in this moment. I wish an unconditional love and mercy blooming within your wisdom and enlightening like a lantern in the darkness. I wish a gracefulness expanding without end in your heart. I'd like to send the love, happiness, and peaceful to you all repeatedly, boundlessly, and endlessly.